Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary and Happy New Year! We are entering 2024 strong and ready, and I thought what better way to start this new year than to talk about some of the things I want to do this year. Now, I have never really been a fan of New Year's resolutions. I think they're often way too abstract and fluffy, and it's something we do with good intentions in January with absolutely no follow through. And honestly, that's my people. But instead of doing the classic New Year's resolutions, we're going to make a to-do list instead, because I love lists. And let me know in the comments down below what you think about New Year's resolutions, if this is something you're doing, if this is something that helps you, and if it isn't, then why that might be. Let me know, enlighten me. The last few years I have done lists of things I want to achieve, of things I want to do, but instead of making them these fluffy abstract things, I try to make them really specific with things I can cross out like a to-do list. And to me, at least, that is just a lot more manageable, and that means I'll actually get this stuff done. I've actually been disappointing myself by not doing them for 2023. I don't know what happened. It just didn't happen. So we're gonna turn over a new leaf and start doing them now. Now, what I've seen on social media, on Beyonce's internet overall, is that a lot of people are doing sustainable New Year's resolutions, and we're happy to see it. I am very happy to see it. But the fluffy New Year's resolutions of be more outside, I want to exercise more, it becomes fluffy, not specific enough. And I've seen it with use more reusables, ditch plastic, go vegan. Actually, go vegan is pretty concrete. It's an absolute. But eat less meat, for instance. Eat more vegetables. Instead, I think it's really important to make these resolutions or goals of yours a lot more specific. So instead of saying eat more vegetables, I would prefer in my own New Year's resolutions to say learn how to make 10 new dishes that are plant-based, and then you can cross them out as you learn. It just makes everything a lot easier, and that's how my brain works. But I want to talk to you about the New Year's resolutions, or the things I want to do in this year, and how I go about it. And then hopefully we'll check in again in 12 months to see how much I actually did. And I have divided my New Year's resolutions into two sections. Things that I already do that I'll keep doing, and things that I haven't done yet that I want to start doing. Again, still keeping them as specific as possible, but let's get started. And remember to post your New Year's resolutions in the comments down below to hold yourself accountable, as well as to share and inspire others. Okay, let's do this. My first New Year's resolutions is to throw at least 5 dinner parties. Now, I use dinner parties for a number of different things. First of all, I love to make content out of the food that I serve at my dinner parties. I love watching content about other people's dinner parties, both about the menu, the decor, the activities, everything. I think it's so much fun. I also use it as an opportunity to show my friends and family the plant-based dishes that I love to make. Both the more fine dining stuff, the more gourmet stuff, but also just nice comfort food, sturdy dishes. And it's a way for me to communicate the plant-based foods to give people around me that perhaps aren't vegan themselves. I do have vegan friends, but I also just have friends that eat whatever, to experience plant-based food with them. And I can tell this is not only from my dinner parties overall, but it's just from like being in this friend group, but even the friends I know that eat meat still. Whenever someone is shitting or bashing on vegan food or plant-based foods, they're the first people to say, hey, a lot of this food is really tasty. I don't know why you're acting this way. It's just a really nice way to create a lot of nuance between friends and family. And yeah, I love to use my dinner parties in that regard and to do just that. It is eco-related, but I also just love hosting. Completely unrelated to eco-friendliness, but I want to get my red belt in Taekwondo. I could, in the classic New Year's resolution style, have written exercise more or do more Taekwondo. I could have written that, and it would have meant nothing. I wouldn't have done anything about that. But now I have a specific goal, and it's to get my red belt. I have taken about half a year off of Taekwondo for no explicit reason, except that I haven't felt like it. I really didn't feel like it for the longest time. And I don't want to push myself to do things that I don't like in this regard. I don't have a lot of free time. I want to spend it doing things that matter to me. We're going back in there. And I've set a goal for me to this year get my red belt. Now, this is embarrassing because I have friends who literally read libraries in a year. But on my list is that I want to read 5 books, a minimum of 5 books. And to me, in a year, that's a lot. Now, I know how to read, but I just never prioritize reading time. I could do audiobooks. I've never really been a fan of that. I don't know. Today I'm dressed like a librarian and not the sexy kind, just the normal, regular, shush kind. The smell of library books, and I love the smell of books in general. To make that goal more eco-friendly, I want to borrow the books in the library. Hiya, there we go. But I am so bad at taking time out of my day to prioritize actually reading. I end up on my phone, on my laptop instead. So I want to set this as a goal, that I need to prioritize this time. I even have some books that I really want to read. Now, obviously, these aren't library books. I already own these. I just haven't gotten around to read them yet. But these are the books I want to start out with. I have Invisible Women. I already started this a little bit, like very, very barely just started it. And I'm already furious. I'm excited for that. Papyrus, want to read that as well. And this was a gift from Female Invest. Girls just want to have impact funds about sustainable investing. These are the 3 books I want to read for starters, and then I want to explore my local library to find other options. Now, this might actually be a little bit fluffy, but I want to repair my clothes more. I want to learn new crafts related to repairing my clothes. Now, I have already repaired clothes in the past. I want to keep doing that, and I have a pile of clothes that's broken that I need to start repairs on that I haven't done yet. I want to keep repairing my clothes and finding joy, prioritizing that time, repairing clothes. This is also something that I recently started doing a lot more of, and I want to continue to do that in 2024, and it's volunteering. Now this year I'm an ambassador for a Danish anti-food waste organization, Stop Spild Lokalt, and they are working together with local businesses and supermarkets, rescuing the food that would otherwise have been thrown away, ended up in the bin, and then they give it to people who could otherwise not afford food. So I want to be much more involved in that, and I am going to be, hence the ambassadorship. This is giving me so much joy. I volunteered on the 23rd of December and it was an amazing experience. So this is something I want to do a lot more of this year. Sort of in the same category, but I want to show up at protests more. Now, I'm generally not a socially anxious person, but I have never really felt super comfortable in protests. And I don't know if this is relatable. I wish I was that person that didn't find this so intimidating. I have shown up at protests. I have protested for climate action in Denmark. I've protested for the ceasefire of Gaza. I've generally tried my very best, but I often feel really like a sore thumb sticking out. This is so uncomfortable. I want to be better at it. I'm not putting a minimum on this though, because I don't want to show up to a protest just because it's on my list. I want to actually participate in something that I'm passionate about. So this, I don't want to put any pressure on myself, but this is just a manifestation, an affirmation, if you will, that I want to be better at challenging that part of me that feels awkward or anxious in that space. Let me know if this is relatable or this is something you're working on as well, or if there's any other kind of protest-related socially anxious people out there, because I think we should start a group. And this is something I've done successfully a couple of times. I want to become even better at it, and it's baking plant-based macaron. Now, I have a recipe in my book for plant-based macaron, and I'm using that as the base, always evolving it though. But this is something I want to do much more of because I love them so much. And everything can go wrong. So I want to continuously work on that recipe and become really, really good at it. Moving on. And the last thing, I want to dumpster dive again. I have also been in a rut with dumpster diving, and I want to dumpster dive this year a minimum of 6 times. Now, that's not really a lot, but it's getting me going. And I'm wondering if after the 6th time I will be in a habit of it, like in a routine of it, so I can continue to do that. But at least 6 times dumpster diving is my goal. Now, these were the things that I've already done that I want to keep doing. Now, these are the things that I haven't done before that I want to stop doing. Now, this is embarrassing. Actually, I don't know if this is embarrassing per se. It's embarrassing to me because I hate when I can't get something right, especially so when it comes to gastronomy and creating recipes. I am in the process of making crustades. Crustades. A small, crunchy little vessel for purees, sauces, or other small elements that you make by taking an iron element and then placing it into oil and dipping it into a batter and then dipping it into oil and then creating set iron shape in batter. Now, this is so stinking beautiful when it looks right and when it works. I want to make this. I have the equipment to do so, and I have tried a few times. Every single time I am researching to find out what went wrong, and I'm trying to better myself. But in order to keep the motivation up on this, because this is my Achilles heel, my Mount Everest, if you will, my Goliath, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But I want to make this because I have an idea in my head of what this dish is going to look like, and it's going to be magnificent, but I'm still not getting the crustade right. Continuing into 2024, this is happening. I don't care if it's ready, it's happening. I also want to expand on my lectures. Now, one of the main parts of my job is that I go out into organizations, private companies, schools, municipalities, libraries, universities, corporations, every type of space where this might be relevant. So hey, call your bosses, let this happen. And then I give lectures about both zero waste, how to lower your impact, both as a company, as individuals, etc. The communication of lowering the carbon footprint of people and businesses is one of the main parts of my job. And I want to expand that a little bit because after I launched my cookbook, I also took the year writing it. This is something I'm so deeply passionate about. This about food is just something that just feels so right to me. So in 2024, I want to somehow start doing plant-based fine dining cooking workshops. I don't know how it's gonna work, and I don't know anything about it, but I want to do it. Again, affirmating. I want to do this. I think this could be so great. It has to happen. Okay, let me know if you would ever want to attend a fine dining plant-based cooking workshop with me. Let me know. This is something that I have done with the previous book, but I haven't done with this book. Now, I published my first book in 2020, and then a year and a half later it came out in English, and it's Sustainable Badass. Now, the Sustainable Gourmet is only out in Danish currently, but I have the book proposal ready. I just need to get off my bum and do it and call my publisher and make it happen and go into the whole process again. But I always have this feeling when I am done with something, like the manuscript, I have the book in my hands, everything is finished, I can't pick up another book related task. So I just needed to take a couple of months to just live it. But now I'm so ready to have my gourmet cookbook published in English. So it's on my list, and I think it's one of the most important things for 2024. Now, this is sort of more personally related, but this is something I haven't done since I was very young, and it's seeing an opera. I remember when I was a child, I went to the opera a lot, and I saw operas also outside and in different settings with my mother. And I really want to get back into classical music as well as operas. And it's on my list. I'm going to see this year at least one opera, and hopefully it will expand and evolve into many. The next is kind of related, but also it doesn't have to be. And it's going to see a show at the Danish Royal Theatre. I would so love that. And I haven't ever been, which is such a shame and a pity. I would really, really love to go. And it's either to see like theatre, ballet, opera, whatever, but I really want to go. And it's my goal for 2024 to do so. And I think it's quite manageable and quite achievable. It doesn't all have to be big milestones. Sometimes it can just be things you're really curious about. And that's definitely the case with these two goals. Now, kind of related to the learning how to repair my clothes bit, but I want to learn one new craft this year. And I kind of already know what it is I want to learn. I want to learn embroidery. Now, I know the classic, like the cross embroidery, that I don't actually know what it's called. I think it's just called the cross embroidery, but I want to learn to embroider more things. And perhaps something with pearls in them, or like small stones or whatever. You can find all these supplies in thrift stores, and I really want to get back into that. A way of making things more beautiful after they have broken, kind of like the Japanese kintsugi. I definitely believe that you can do the same thing with embroidery, and I think it could be so much fun to learn. So that's on my list, learning one new skill, and perhaps it's embroidery. And the last one is making 5 DIYs. Now, I did a video during December where I did 2 DIYs, one where I dehydrated oranges and one where I used the tube for tomato paste to do Christmas ornaments. It was so much fun. I want to do at least 5 DIYs kind of like that. And of course I'll take you guys with me and show you. But I want to be better at actually making things at home, making things myself. And that also means prioritizing that time to do that in, because the interest is there. It's just the prioritizing of the time that's sometimes a little screwed up. And I think that's one of the major lessons in sustainability I've learned over the years, is that prioritizing the time to do slow things that are not fast-paced, things you cannot rush, things where you have to really sit down and sort of immerse yourself in it, is so incredibly helpful if you're able to do that. And I want to exercise that more. Overall, that's the goals of this year, but it's specific things that I want to achieve. I would love to hear what you guys want to achieve this year for 2024. Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what you thought about my resolutions to-do list. What are we thinking? Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day and take care of your hangover if you're in that department. I filmed this before New Year, so if you're watching this on the 1st of January, I'm probably dying now. So here's a greeting from the past before the champagne. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day and take really good care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero-waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!